And a very warm welcome to you. You've just joined your favourite 6-point celebration show, Waving Flags and Chasing Bags. And what kind of a show would it be without the maestro of flag waving, Mr. Andy Statsman Baldwin? Here he is, right with us now. Andy, how are you?
I'm well, Chop, and it's good to be back doing another episode of my favourite show, Chasing Bags and Waving those Flags.
Now, Andy, should I tell everybody that we just did a 40-minute episode and I forgot to press record? So this is our second take at it. Should I tell everyone that?
We'll tell our viewers it's take 2, and this time we are on record. So let's get this show. We've got quite a bit to get through, but let's get
well, before we rip into it, Andy, I do want to ask you one more time. What do you think of the intro title sequence? Because I'm really keen to hear your views on that.
I'm loving it, Chop, but I don't wave the goal flags in a point post. So
no,
we've got to get at it by next episode, Chop.
And for what it's worth, I don't physically chase bags like that. Of course, they're way too quick for me as a general rule. But so without further ado, mate, let's get into it. This is actually our second episode overall, but we are covering round 3, which was a split round overall. And talking goals, this was massive. We had the Easter round 2 weekends ago where we had 2 matches on broadcast. We had 1 match on broadcast on the weekend. Every match produced a bag. It was unbelievable. And just a bit of an idea, mate, you waved in most of them, I think. And just to prove it, this is just the men's bags over the split round of round 3. We've had 2 weeks. We had round 3. We had 4 different matches, and we had 5 players, and we had 6 bags. Unbelievable. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this is one show to show them all. Check this out, Eddie. I want to play this video. Just give everyone a bit of an idea. Lie down. All right, it's going to start any minute, Andy. Here we go. Is that a bag, Shane? The angle, you would have to say it's rudimentary for a man of his skills. Left boot, sinks it straight into the Sharon. That goes straight through the middle, splits it exactly how we expected. And Billy Barton gets another bag. Jeez, he performs in front of the camera for us, doesn't he? We're a big fan. That was only a matter of time because I got a few goals that may happen by Santa goals. Has he done it? 2 bags by one team in one day. This is fantastic work. Of goals. He got his second bag in a row. As the fireworks go bananas over Adelaide Street.
Over the top. That's a great ball to Hawes. Hawes looking for a bag. He just needs this to sit beautifully. It did so, and he goes bang. And that's a goal to Riley Hawes. He's got 5. And the lead goes back out to 36.
And here they go again. And this time Billings looking down there, Walters off hands. They've got players at the back. It's Pitt again. That's a bag. That's a bag. Oh, wow.
There we go. The button's been pressed.
Is that our first halftime bag, Shane?
Could be our first.
Oh, Harrison Pitt with the first halftime bag. This is rudimentary for Brandon Lloyd. Now this one to kick 5 for the day. His 3rd bag in a row. He kicked 1 in round 1. He kicked 1 in round 2. He's about to kick 1 in round 3. Setting himself up. He manages it straight through. There's a bag for Brandon Lloyd. 3 bags in a row. We've never seen that before. Bar, black sheep as the fireworks come out. The yellow button's been pressed. And it's bagalicious here in the commentary box. Well done, Brandon Lloyd. You're on fire. We're loving your work so far. That's actually when I say I need to lie down, just after that. But bar, black sheep, kicking many goals. Yes, sir. 3 in a row, round-wise. He's killing it, isn't he, Brandon Lloyd? So bags everywhere. And that's not to mention another 2 for the ladies. So round 3, 8 bags in 4 matches. That's a bag. No, 8 matches. 8 matches. So that's a bag game on average. Outstanding work.
Very much outstanding work. The Russ staying, on Anzac Day just looked absolutely in his elements. Munzella got 9 goals 2 weeks before at Fane Oval against Baddo Bay, but Riley Hawes dominated Anzac Day kicking 7. Unfortunately, on that for coverage does not show that the goal he kicked from, I think would have been on the boundary, row C, if it was a tiered stadium. He kicked it from the boundary and it brought the house down. I was just before half time as well on Anzac Day.
Simply you're almost hitting hope. You're hitting hope, don't you? And
kicking hope, exactly. And well-deserved Anzac medal winner. I mean, was there an Anzac medal winner on Anzac Day at your ground, Chop? Just quickly.
Yes, there was. And it evades me at the moment. I think Lockie Henderson got our scene stealer with his 3 goals. So we've got the 2 Twin Towers that kicked a bag. And I just want to mention too, all of those bags, not one of them was just 5, because of the girls we got, I think it was Madison Galagos and Ruby Spark won last week, both with 6 goals apiece. So we're not just scraping in for a small bag, we're bag plus. So really exciting. And when you look at how many goals, multiple goal kickers there were in those, there was a couple of big total kicks all around around the AFL-HCC. We are in great shape, and I don't know, mate. You must put an inch or 2 on your bicep. The amount of times those white flags coming out, some of those players just off the head.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Exciting scenes for those particular clubs that are getting those. And I think there's a real trend showing that the sides that are doing well are the ones that can claim 1 or 2 big goal kicking talents in there. So if they've got a single prong attack or a multi-prong attack, they're getting big scores and big wins because they've got an acknowledged and a clearly identified goal kicker that's robust, stands up and kicks those goals. We saw the difference between Maitland when they had Hoffman there and when they didn't was significant. So those sides who are still yet to get on the bag rating list, I reckon they'll be looking very hard trying to highlight somebody who can do that.
Yeah,
do we have a look at those games quickly, mate, and how they went over the round 3 period?
Yes, absolutely. So round 3, we had it on the. We'll go to start with women's. Basically, the round 3 on Anzac Day, we had wins for Cardiff and Killarney Vale, convincing wins. On the round 3B, which was last weekend, we had Newcastle City, way too strong for Nelson Bay, and Terrigal Avoca, which was live on the scene last week, was too strong for Maitland. We move. There was a couple of bags mentioned. We'll move on to the goal kicking list of tally after the round 4. We've got round 4 matches of women's from all over the place. We've got games on the Central Coast to the Hunter. We start the game at Baddo Bay. Baddo Bay versus Nelson Bay. Nelson Bay recently come back into Women's Cup after a couple of years in plate versus a resurgent Baddo Bay.
Are you doing the preview of the games, mate?
Oh, sorry, mate. I mean, you want me to go through the goal kickers?
No, that's all right. Before we go into the preview, sorry, mate, I got a bit lost myself. Before we go, I just wanted to talk, I guess, about the results a little bit, but we won't go into it too much. I reckon what we'll do before we go into the previews, because that's going to be a bit that we'll go a little bit of detail into those. Mate, I want to highlight one in particular, the bag rater. I'll play these bag rater things so we've got an idea. We'll give the audience a bit of an idea of what's happening in bag rater land, because as you know, I follow this pretty closely, and I reckon the best way to do it is just show these 2 little videos quickly, and then we're up to speed. We can talk about the goal kickers a little bit then. So
sure.
This one from round 3A, I think it was. That was the Anzac Day round. I think this is the bag rater segment from there. It's going to happen any minute now, Andy, because we are seamless. No, this is week 2. I'm going to stop this. Why they've got different titles for them for some reason. I'm going to try Let's put them in the right order this time.
What are you talking about, Robag Raider? There's no such thing. We're only halfway through round 3, and it's already raining bags. So let's get on some now. And starting with goal, Legos. Now, four-quarter Chop is aware that he got Madison's surname wrong, but when you kick 6 goals, 1 bag for 1 game, of course we're going to get creative. Not so lonely for Mia Wilson now, with the Cardiff Hawk sharpshooter joining her on the bag raider list, leaving the women's goal-kicking tally looking a little bit like this. A host of other goal sneaks breathing down the top 5's neck. It's clear the Bombers have been good kids all year, because St. Nick dropped in for the second week in a row and delivered more prezzies. 2 bags on the trot for Santa goals, 6 of the best by him. Meanwhile, at Fay and Oval, Bulldogs fans must have been a little peckish, so one Wild Mustang delivered them a doggy bag, chock full with 7 majors. Riley, the wild horse of Fay and Oval, now on the bags. But this guy here's done the unthinkable. 3 games in, 3 bags out. Brendan Lloyd goes through more bags than airport security. He's a dead set concierge. Why, Robag? That's right, and dropping bags right at your door. 3 and 2 bags respectively for the KV Titans, with 1 each to the Mustang and Munzilla at Warners Bay, and 1 to the Saintly Hofflow to round out the top 5. And the top 5 of the Goolagong song now is rounded out by all bag raiders, and that's the way we like it, because you can't win a goal-kicking trophy or win the true respect of the goal-kicking loving community unless you seriously get on the bags. We've been saying it for years.
And it's true, Andy, isn't it?
It certainly is, Chop. We've been singing our praises for years. That is probably the most goals I've seen in round 3 for a Goldagong trophy in my lifetime as an umpire. I've never seen.
You know what?
I've never seen it.
Exciting. That's
20 goals round
that's
3.
Half the round.
20 goals up to
What
round
was that,
3.
sorry?
20 goals up to round 3. It's unheard
and that's
of.
only half of the round. We've still got this to go, Andy.
And this is round. We've got round 3B.
So this is the second part. This is the second week of round 3. There's another 4 games, and we have Ruby Spark. Sorry, I put the wrong logo there, Ruby, but she's from the Newcastle City Blues, the 3rd bag raider that enters for the women's division in round 3. So they're going at a rate of one each week. Mia Wilson, of course, leading the goal-kicking tally there with Ruby Spark right on her heels. Bagatuda, he's no longer a marlin. He's a Bagatuda, a voracious, what do you call him? One of those fish. Anyway, good on you, Billy Barton. It's great to have you in the group. Double-barrel bag cannon, 10 goals from Harrison Pitt, and there's a story behind why he was so fired up. And we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bag raiders in 3 rounds and the men's cup, and they have got absolutely scintillating in terms of their goal-kicking prowess. We can see at the top of the ladder, as you're mentioning, Andy, 20 goals to the patron saint of goals there. And I think, what have we got? 8 is the bottom of those top 5. So they're just absolutely smoking along at the moment. And the men's goal-kicking bag rating in particular is something off its head that I've decided I'm going to introduce a bit of a new thing each week, and it's called Red Alert, Andy. And I'll show you how it works without knocking over all of my audio-visual gear. This week's Red Alert, I've got the red light flashing for Harrison Pitt because word is he arrived late at football on the weekend due to a fire on the F1 or the M1 or whatever they call it now. And because he was late, he was absolutely fuming, steaming out of the ears himself just about. We need to call a fire truck just to cool him down. But he gets the red alert. We're keeping an eye on him as we head into the weekend round this weekend. Harrison Pitt, if I was his teammate, Andy, I'd be letting his tyres down because if that's how he performs when he turns up late for football, then the opposition are in trouble if he's not there on time, that's for sure. So one player you don't mind turning up late if that's what he ends up doing.
No, not at all. I mean, he was just kicking them from anywhere on Saturday, Chop. I mean, the one that he kicked, I think was just for his 4th. I mean, you called it correctly. It was just dead straight. It was never looked like missing at all. And then, I think 10-2 last. I think remember 10-2 or 10-3. So he could have easily beaten the Santa Horse of 11.
Yeah, it was just beautiful to watch. The kick off his boot was just sublime. And when he's on like that, I coached him for a season or 2 when he was just before he went into senior football. And he's a picture of concentration. He's got a beautiful work ethic on the training track. And he would be, after a couple of weeks with no goals, of 4 to his name after 2 rounds, and seeing how many other goal kickers there were around the place, it wouldn't have been about the personal accolades. It would have been about what his role is serving Terrigal Avoca Panthers. He would have been straight back to the drawing board. But he was at his absolute best and getting some great delivery too, which is just superb. So he'll be one to watch this weekend as we head into a bumper round of football again, heading into it. Let's have a bit of a look at what we've got ahead of us this weekend, Andy.
Indeed, we do, Chop. Let's go in straight into it. We'll go first into Women's Cup. I mean, Women's Cup this year, we got the emergence of the Nelson Bay back into Women's Cup, which is good to see. They've got the entrance Baddo Bay at Passage Road Oval, Baddo Bay Oval, 1 midday. Chop, I mean, Nelson Bay they've only just come back in the Women's Cup. The entrance Baddo Bay are going through rebuilding under the Scott Gray. Can Nelson Bay pose a threat down the M1?
Well, potentially, but I don't think they will on this occasion, Andy. I think the Baddo Bay girls will shore this one up. They did have a tough day against Killarney Vale just up the road. That's a tough place to travel, even if it is just the next suburb across. But Nelson Bay, I think it'll be a long trip there. I don't think they'll be completely uncompetitive, but it's just one of those ones. Those two sides are bringing up that sort of lower tier 4 sides, I would suggest, and so it'll be competitive match. And this is one of the great things about women's football at the moment. We've got a top tier that's competitive and a bottom tier that's competitive as well. There might be some, big deficits in between time to time, but this will be one of those ones where those sides will be able to have a really competitive match against each other. But I think the entrance Baddo Bay will win on this occasion. Home ground.
Okay, next one to discuss is Cardiff versus Maitland, Pasterfield Oval, 1 o'clock. Cardiff coming off a strong Anzac Day win. They had a week off. Maitland, we saw them last week on the scene against Terrigal. Cardiff are the real deal again this year. I mean, they're posing to be one of the top 4 to be in the finals. Finals ready. Can you see Maitland improving from last week by much to pose a threat against the Birds?
Nah, mate. I think once again, look, we've got that deficit, that divide between the top sides and the bottom sides, and this is a perfect example of that. Maitland shouldn't be disappointed. They've got some really good players in amongst that crop, and it's great to see them back in Cup. I mean, by virtue of the fact that they've been promoted again, means that they're moving in the right direction, and we can see that out there at Maitland. The facilities there are wonderful now. Their club rooms look fantastic. They're only halfway through the rebuild. It's probably one of the nicest surfaces to play on. Even the Terrigal players are saying they love playing at Maitland because the backstreet man is just a great get. And you look like you love waving there too, Andy, by the way. There's always bringing your step out there. But look, Maitland won't come close to Cardiff. We know that. But so long as I think these sides just got to set themselves a target and try and reduce the deficit from last time they played. Simple goal, try and set. If they can do that, then they're moving in the right direction. So this is one of those growing learning curve, growing opportunities for Maitland, and Cardiff will win that one comfortably.
Okay. Newcastle versus Warners Bay up at headquarters, number 1 sports ground, 1 p.m. Newcastle City looking real strong. They want to get the premiership back from. They haven't been that far away. Warners Bay on the improve. They had the week off from Anzac Day. Newcastle City coming from win against Nelson Bay. Chop, I think this could be a 10-goal margin based on the evidence that Warners Bay, they're improving, but they're just not there right at the top tier.
Yeah, of course, mate. I just reiterate what we said before. Same again, much the same as the Cardiff Maitland's game. Look, sides are going to realise this in the women's competition while we're still developing, and that from week to week you're going to have the tough games where you're going to either win by a lot or you're going to lose by a lot, and then that'll be followed up with a game where you can be a lot more competitive. You've got a chance to win, or you've got a chance to sort of work really hard against a sort of more equally leveled opponent. This is another one where there's a bit of a disparity between where the two sides are at. But once again, Warners Bay have got a second women's division side there. Amy Pittman's a legend as far as women's footy goes, and she's taking it in the right direction. So as long as they're all buying in and having fun, and I do love that about the women's comp. They don't seem to be as like concerned about winning or losing, but of course they want to keep moving in the right direction. So, and again, it's a learning curve for those probably tiered sides in that bottom four. But the following week they'll end up with a side where they can team they can be competitive. So Newcastle win that comfortably again as well.
Okay. Now, the entertaining match that's going to be live on exclusive on the AFL 100 Central Coast website, YouTube.
This is going to be a ripper, Andy.
This will be an absolute ripper. Terrigal Avoca versus Killarney Vale Bombers. The Killarney Vale Bombers have had the wood on them for so many years, and Terrigal have been on the improve. They've had Jody Hicks come in as coach. Chop, can we see a little upset at the Hilton Moore tomorrow on the scene?
Well, if Terrigal were to get up on the weekend, and they are very capable of doing that, and that's a big thing to say given how advanced the Killarney Vale women's program is, it won't surprise me because I've been discussing this. We've had a chance to see the Terrigal Avoca women's team twice already in 3 rounds, which is great because we normally don't get them to round 5 or 6 in the broadcast schedule. So we've had a good look at them. And from the minute I saw them against Newcastle City, where they went down in round 1, and then watching them put the improvement in 2 weeks against Maitland, and they are, make no mistake, they are right there in that top 4 already. Forget about the improvement to get to that top tier. They are there, and we are watching sides now. Killarney Vale, I believe, are ahead probably at least ahead in front of, say, Newcastle City. That's my take on what I've seen so far. Cardiff are probably just about ahead behind those 2 sides. Terrigal Avoca have nudged their head right in amongst that 4 right there, I think. And that their exponential improvement in those first 3 weeks suggests that if they continue on that, they're going to challenge for a premiership this year. Make no mistake. I'm saying that unequivocally. I don't know if my commentary colleagues agree as such. That might be a bit of an early call. But I've just seen it. They've got... I'm talking more about this one because it's our big clash tomorrow. And I'm so excited, Andy, that we don't have just a men's game that's going to be competitive, or we don't just have a women's game that's competitive. Tomorrow, the broadcast schedule is going to bring to you 2 highly competitive matches, and round 4 is well worth streaming and tuning into because it's going to be bumper. At Terrigal, the Killarney Vale women are the benchmark standard, but the Terrigal Avoca Panthers have brought in a class and a level of players into that group that are making their top tier players who have to shoulder so much of the load in recent years play with a freedom and a joy and a satisfaction that we haven't seen them be able to do. They're top tier players like Kat Donnelly and Tamara Nicholas, who won our scene together last week. Excuse me. Ariel Gillies is kicking goals. Sydney Boonsman's all over the place. They're playing with a freedom and a abandon that they weren't able to in recent years because, they just didn't have to stop. And now they've got players like Zoe Boxell, and there's a couple of Baileys in there as well. And, of course, Jody Hicks, who's, largely been part of that turnaround. They're banging that standard. And the last thing I want to say on that, Andy, to have 2 sides get promoted this year into Women's Cup is a great step forward. To have 1 more team in Women's Cup this year than last year is a big step forward. To have 4 sides that can compete in that bottom tier comfortably and every second week get a good, comfortable, strong hit out, if they can measure their improvement rather than just getting too many belting from one week to the next. And to have an extra club move into that top 4 where we'll have a proper 4-team finals race this year where any of them can win it is just great sign for the women's competition that's had way too big a divide for way too long. So Newcastle and Cardiff, but especially Killarney Vale this weekend, look out because there's a new kid on the block and they're going to shake it. They could win it tomorrow. I'm not going to, I don't know if I'm bold enough to actually say I'm going to back them, but I reckon it'll be a 1-goal deficit one way or the other. And it'll just depend on the firepower. I think I owe Zoe